Okay, so I have finished the great leveling. Excuse me. The great leveling, which primarily going through 33 levels of a new character of a new class is a bit daunting. So I took I was right to do it off screen because it was like 2 hours of just reading. But besides that, let's just go quickly through the guys who already have their classes. And just grabbed a ballistic skill buff and then also a fire at will. I think we had this previously and we respec out of it, and now we just have it again. Basically, if anyone's in the back line, they get one less AP cost for their first attack, which is very useful. Jai, we don't really care because we never use her, but just, make a little linchpin a bit better. Argenta, we don't really use her, so it is what it is, but exploit weakness, armor reductions are really easy to get by, so it effectively translates to plus 10% damage all times, and sometimes an extra plus 2. And then just weapon skill. Yulia, we actually use her, so she's worth discussing. Professional Acumen allows us to give more AP for Seek to Opening, and basically able to apply all of our abilities, and then have AP left over, of course, for our going into sniper mode. And then just Perception, because a lot of her damage stuff scales off Perception. Heinrichs. So Heinrichs. Exploit weakness, same reason for Argenta. Just, more damage overall. And then some strength, because I believe that put him at 50 now, so he has just a little bit more flat damage. Raw. Cassia, just an officer talent. Inspire, a little bit more, right? We have damage Cassia, so we buff her damage. Pascal, we do hit critical hits pretty often. And so, reducing armor with critical hits is just nice, and it's synergizes with, like Heinrichs and stuff like that, where, we don't get bonuses when their armor is reduced. So he is just, of course he has his operative abilities to reduce armor, but this allows him not to have to use the operator skills for it. Abelard, our man, who's probably going to get benched a little bit to play with our other melee character now, but, this one seems reasonable. Up to 15% more armor and parry is great for a tank. Now, Cabela, who we've gone through, given items. She has a unique item she came with. Blood Blessed is just where when she uses a blood move and then there's blood sprayed everywhere. This is a resolve is nice, and it's not. I haven't played around yet, so I don't know if it's unfeasible. She has some armor that increases her toughness, and then a little bit more dodge due to her agility. That's just there to have something there, but she has a lot of stuff that goes off Medicae and Medkits because she uses her health for a lot of abilities. So giving us more Medicae and then also getting less AP to use Medkits, I think will allow her to be a little better, a little bit more damage. I gave her Dukari weapon efficiency, so that way she can use her Dukari melee weapons because we don't really have too many good normal swords. So Dukari Glaive, just because its flat damage is pretty decent, but also 35% armor pen is really nice. And then one-handed, honestly, potentially even better, right? Just for being one-handed and getting those little debuff stacks, but this guy here, you get bonuses for being two-handed. Looking at her class abilities, I played Dancer into Assassin just because that's what I felt like doing. I didn't feel like doing Executioner for her. Alright, Medicae is mainly things skilled, but 13 AoE melee damage on movement. So basically spec all into making her super mobile around the battlefield. So that's what a lot of her abilities we've taken are. Increased MP just from, deaths gives more MP, and we want MP. Anytime we parry or dodge, they get more stacks of this, which is nice, and that comes from just using one of our melee abilities. Actual ability is it costs 21 wounds, which is a decent chunk of our health, but allows us to parry both. It allows us to parry ranged weapons, and theoretically, because we got the upgrade for it, which is here, we do damage when we parry, which is very nice. So that's our defensive talent, basically. And sword of damage. Common feature, bonus to parry if we're going on parries. That seems reasonable to me. This allows our blade dance to be better against single targets. I think that's just valuable because often we'll probably clear out the chaff extremely quickly, and then we're just left with usually the big tough guys. So some ability to do better single target damage. This one allows us to, return to start of combat, basically, or restart of our turn's location, and redoes, or at least I haven't tested it, but it reads like it causes us to do Death from Above again at all its locations. So if we didn't exactly finish off a bunch of people with ours and decided to keep moving on, we could use this at the end of the turn and then just go back and finish off a whole bunch and then get us back behind cover. In fact, this theoretically could go well with some of the assassin abilities that I haven't taken yet because I totally forgot to consider it, but this allows us to get back behind cover and break line of sight. Which a lot of the assassin abilities, there are some options if the enemy doesn't have line of sight on you, so that's something to consider. Medicae from her weapon skill instead of intelligence allows that to be very high, actually. I think she has 117. And then also we get some bonus crit damage. So that is an extra 15% crit damage. No melee superiority if we're throwing her specifically into mobs of guys. I think that's reasonable. And then we get a charge of Death from Above anytime we dodge an attack, which, hopefully happens pretty often. We have pretty high agility. And for the assassin abilities, kind of the standard ones here, obviously Killing Edge and Death Whisper. But then taking Dance Macabre, which is the assassin mobility skill that we haven't really used yet, because it doesn't really do damage or anything, but it does give us, a lot of movement things. And then we took the Morbid Pirouette, which does 7 direct damage because of our agility stat. So that means we can always trigger lethality heightened every time we use it, which means we can keep stacking lethality every time we use it, which is just really good because it's above 5. Besides that, just kind of our basic one, Professional Acumen, just because keep the AP cost a little bit low because we do kind of want to be using all of our abilities possible. Killing Spree, hitting opening, increase damage by 3%. Theoretically, we can hit multiple openings because we have AoE melee attacks. Extra damage from dodge. That sounds useful to me. Acquire weapon proficiency for obvious reasoning. More openings to potentially hit, just is very useful. Even though we can reposition all the time, create openings and that stuff is useful. Flat bonus to dodge, very useful. Mortally effective, so over 100 lethality we get an AP back, so we're super AP efficient, especially since we have 120% dodge, so that means we always will get our AP back for our first attack. And I think that is it. And yeah, that's our plan there. So we're probably going to take Abelard out and see how it goes. Or maybe I kind of want to keep Heinrichs then. Okay. Okay, so we were here to find the message from Vortibir. Did we pick up any new quests from here? Oh yeah, we have internal stuff to do. Some weapons removal extracting and so on. Terrible trade. Yeah, so these are chapter 1 quests, so these are things that are in the DLC that are just still here now. Because, obviously we just got her. So we're going to do this. I was just making sure it wasn't the, chapters 3 things, so that way we're not progressing the main story even further before we do this stuff. Here are one. scouting team sent to Colony World returns with decrepit, shaggy, foul-smelling vagrant in tow. The old man hastened toward the enforcers as soon as he saw the dynasty's colors and implored them to take him to Master Revere or Lady Theodora. Established the nature of his mission. When he agrees to share details with Simon with Rogue Trader himself, he claims he believes he was sent to recover documentary evidence of Winterscale's debt liabilities to House von Valencius. These priceless papers were stolen by hired agents and also to new music. It's a cold trade of Caligula's Winterscale's orders. However, instead of being destroyed as he wanted them to be, they were hidden away at purposes of blackmail. And it's a profit factor. He describes a long journey full of perilous adventures that eventually brought him to your possession of documents, where he proudly presents to you. Astonishingly enough, they turn out to be genuine. I think this is probably the safest. Just because we really don't know this random man. So getting him in an actual useful position could theoretically be dangerous. So let's do one. So he lavished riches upon him and bestowed some unchallenging yet honorable duty upon him. He prays daily for the good health of the new Lord Captain, so his amazing adventure and selfless service immediately spread throughout the ship. Well, that was quick. Okay, well, back to the ship. So let's do the internal ship now. I'll take 3 profit factor. Okay, so before we do that, though, we have the important thing of, as I said, every time we go in here, we will do one bidding scene. I just want to see if that pushed me over the profit factor for anything, which I don't think it does. I think we're just reputation locked for most things, but it would be the Casabala Commission, which we are definitely good. There's so much profit factor, dude. Take those. Let's see, what is this? Oh, that's actually pretty darn useful. We do actually have a little bit of loot to sell. By a little bit, I mean a little bit. War boots. We're not a melee guy, so it's not too useful for us. We'll just save stuff. Okay. Oh, we were saving that because we had a thing of like, we have to hold at least one type of every cargo for like just random events. Oh well. Oh, maybe we have to talk to Gabella.
Domin.
Blah blah blah. Alright, well, no, we'll go through her because she's a new companion. Tell me about yourself.
I am the second spinner of the blood-spun web. A spear in the hand of the undying Emperor. I am your shield and shadow. Your blade.
Words. How succinct. Do you dislike talking about yourself? A look of curiosity flashes across Kilbella's face, for is masked by her usual stoic indifference.
The tenets compel us to let our deeds speak on our behalf. There is no one in the cult who does not know me. So I have grown accustomed to taciturnity in matters regarding myself. Ask, and I will try to give you an answer that will satisfy your thirst for knowledge.
Your fighting style is unique. Something I can learn?
Your body will fail you, Domin. Your bones will break. Your tendons will snap. Your heart will stop. Our rituals of self-perfection are unending. They demand absolute dedication and decades of special training. However, if you devote the next 30 years of your life to its study, you might be able to learn the basics.
You know, that's a lot of big talk from something I can just respec into. Thank you for sharing with me. I wonder if she's better have something to say if you are actually have the correct class. About your past.
I remember nothing of my childhood. The Vizier says this is because of my training and the injuries I received in battle. He told me it is the fate of all high spinners. The only memories I have are of the blood-spun web and the brothers and sisters who serve the cult alongside me.
What's it like growing up in the cult? What do you remember?
When we were young, we would sew our eyes shut and wander through the bays for months at a time. Starving, surviving, dying. This trial of darkness honed the senses of those who passed it. We were elated, for we knew we were blessed by him. When we grew older, we learned to wield our weapons, and our mentors tested us with pain, poison, and the weight of deceitful words. In time, our bodies no longer felt pain. Our blood became resistant to toxins, and our focus could not be shaken. We were at peace, for we had shed everything that could encumber our faithful service to him.
Well, that's nice.
When we came of age, we faced a great trial. A year-long vigil spent in unceasing prayer to the Undying One. When hunger and other base sensations faded away, we attained true comprehension of ourselves and our place in the world.
The Undying
Our
One is the Emperor.
place between life and death. We were proud, for on that day, he truly accepted us, and we accepted him.
Well then. I can see why you're the best assassin in the cult. The cost was worth it. I mean, she's very proud of it.
Those who devote themselves to the service of the Undying One must be prepared to pay any price. Emotions, blood, life, death, memory. We all must lose what we hold most dear to become a spear in his hand. Some may lose everything, but they will also gain everything.
The music kind of came back in there. Do you truly feel no pain at all?
You can see for yourself.
Tormenting yourself almost seems to give you pleasure.
Is it possible to experience pleasure if one feels nothing?
What are those?
Tools for tempering the flesh. If a spinner neglects this practice for too long, their body will weaken and their sensitivity to pain might return. If it does, they will feel the overwhelming agony of every wound they have ever endured.
Is that how pain works? Is it
and go
cumulative?
mad with torment before the Undying Emperor whispers their name.
Alright, very well. Assortment of small but sophisticated torture tools are laid out before you. Let's do the chain ducks.
The flesh remains untorn. Good.
Black chains dangle from Cadella's body. They look more like a macabre form of adornment than an implement to torture. He gathers up the chains and pulls them until her skin goes taut. Needle into the eye socket, why not?
The purpose of this practice is to fortify the flesh, not to mutilate it.
Needle goes in right between the eyelid and the eyeball. Camilla reaches out and adjusts her hand as casually as though she was straightening out the tableware at a dinner. Had the sharp prongs of steel fork beneath her clavicle.
You have found an interesting use for this tool, yet it still serves its purpose.
That's enough.
Do you have other questions?
Thanks for sharing.
It is not difficult to speak the truth.
Did you ever meet Theodora?
I met her once when I was young. The Vizier saw a serpent hiding among those close to Domin Theodora, ready to sink its fangs into her throat. I was ordered to find the serpent and sever the soul from its body. I watched and waited for weeks. I hid among the shadows, the air ducts and the faceless masses. Once I found the serpent, I sliced off its head and returned to the temple. I doubt that Domin Theodora ever saw me, but the 3 ritual cuts I left behind on the body let her know that this death was pleasing to him. They sent us a grand feast from the upper decks before the cycle's end. We gave it to the hungry.
Cool. Alright, I think it's enough for that for now.
May the Undying One shroud your footsteps from the faithless.
Thanks. Okay. I know I said we were going to do the bath, but that counts as enough NPC talking. The freight line. Okay. I'm surprised it's not mandatory. Yeah. Although Abelard could be good to bring along because he actually knows the ship, though. But really, it's been so good. We'd be kind of melee heavy. I know we're kind of a ranged guy, but we don't honestly do much. But I think it's correct to probably bring Abelard along. Just for, like, potential dialogue. Especially since this is, like, chapter 1 stuff, so this is pretty much the party you're expected to have. Maybe Argenta instead of Heinrichs. So I don't think, like, we'll have any dialogue. Although there is reference dialogue to Yuri that's in the recruitment. When don't save. The music completely going away. There we go. Welcome to Freight Hub Numbers. Lord Captain, I'm Edok Fresno, Captain of the Forces Lower Deck Bay LDA 14. The Master at Arms assigned me to be your liaison as duration of your stay here. Lord Captain, would you like to inspect the control room or to begin your search for the Temple of the Bloodspin Web? I'm here to inspect the entire compartment. Glances at you warily. As you will, Lord Captain. Still have concern for your safety. I must warn you that you should avoid the farthest section of the debate. Do you understand? I'm level 33 here. Alright. They are rid of disease, and the locals can be particularly unpleasant to deal with. This kind of riffraff as well, sir. You might even be attacked. Put it bluntly, the bay performs its functions well, even if its more civilized sections are sorely lacking in discipline. I was only assigned recently, so I haven't had time to straighten everything up. Nice deflection of possible blame. Since doing so will require making some serious changes, I am not inventing excuses, Lord Captain. As the officer in charge, I accept full responsibility for what it takes. He realizes what he's doing. That's good. That's good. Let's do. This is almost sarcastic. Hereby offer you my assistance, Captain. I shall conduct an inspection and share my thoughts on how to change this place for the better. But in that case, I urge you to remain vigilant. The freight trains move at high speeds, and the inhabitants of residential units are despicable rabble. One must never drop one guard around them, and Emperor preserve you from stumbling into the pestilence pit. That's where the madmen and the lepers live. Tell me about the station. Next, lower decks, freight, residential, and artillery bays. Our task is to monitor the flow of the labor force and prevent supply distribution between bays. Who maintains this hub? Traffic controllers. They're technomats trained by the priest and machine code. Yeah, we don't need those. Notification things. They're to keep sick cottages working in order and prevent train collisions. Consequence of an accident like that would be easy to imagine, especially if one trains containing macro cannon ordnance. Also employed here are an enforcer squad, a team of Inferni and clerks who keep cargo records, and a Medicaid officer. A fine chap whose medicine is choice as a bullet. May God Emperor forgive him. Not every void ship can boast of its own railway. That is true, and usually higher class ships are the ones that get trains, but it's far from the greatest thing a road trader's warrant can see done. Credit here goes to Lady Theodore's predecessor, on whose orders the Defense Mechanicus assisted in birthing this miracle of sacred engineering for the wounded dynasty's flagship. And Pascal has something to say. Initiating the train blessing algorithm. Let not corrosive wear separate the wheel sets. Let the traction drive receive the touch of the motive force granted by the invisible hand to Omnissiah. Let his grace strengthen the joints and supports that lift the body above the decay of mortal tracks. Hear me, driver, and praise the machine god thrice, for it is only by his will that the miracle of sacred locomotion is accomplished. The blessing has been successfully executed. Okay. Let's say situation on the lower decks. Most of the locals unload trains and sort provisions. You have maintenance shops and more capable ones. The rest are reserve workforce. Whatever crew are lost on deck, we find replacements for them among the rats. Those rats. If extra hands are needed elsewhere, well, there's always more than enough volunteers eager for work for rations. They even queue for jobs. Alright. The cult has a president in its compartment, does it not? That is correct. The enforcers do not bar them from carrying out their sacred duties. He scowls. As a regular, it is to have armed crew members set up a secret hidden hideout forbidden to the enforcers and let him go about dispensing bloody justice. I see. Be steadfast. Nope. Cool. Any of these people actually talking? Oh no, but there is loot. There's Fresno down there. Okay. Cleanse you right on the sake of power transformer. The machine spirits are running rampant and will not be swayed. Now, can we maybe help them? No. Oh, hey. Tolleman Vox officer? Nope. Subscribe. Okay, I think there's only one person we can actually talk to here. It's Fresno. Alright. Nothing different. Conjure the dashboard controlling the rail junctions are lit up with indicator lumens for active hubs, arrival, departure, yeah, whatever. I wonder. Is that blood? Can't be. We scrubbed the deck 3 times before the road trader came. Void take me to Captain will have our heads. Yes, it does not take me this long to read. Is this the welcome you give to Rogue Trader? His nostrils flare see? Here's Abelard. Remember the audacity to leave behind this appalling symbol. See the Master at Arms calls them to account to them herself. Damn those. How did they even... Alright, Cassia. You have seen this sort of symbol before. Deaf cultists carve bleeding marks like this into their own skin. Domain, remember the sign. It is the beginning of your quest, the first blood trail. You know what this mark is? Resembles one of the symbols. It's weird, why do we have to ask this? Okay. That was one of the symbols associated with. Okay, the music is getting loud. What's it called again? The Song of the Trailing Blood, I think? It's a prayer familiar to those in the compartment. Familiar to many of in the compartment. We've heard the spinners say it when they, well, performed their signature act of service to the Emperor. Oh god, I have to probably memorize this. Soundless shadows sank into the dark, slash feet crescendo, a fatal dance. Blade song in tempo, an edge and an echo. Twin odes to death throes, now on her sacred blood. As she once trod the backs of foes, tread countless souls, but none who know. What is the Song of Trailing Blood? For I could tell, it's something like a prayer of several verses to tell about the life of one of the cult saints, Ariana or the matriarch Spider. Cool. Alright. I think I can just reject it completely. Okay, yeah, we're definitely going to need to know that.
A new challenge for me?
Sound just popped out. Slaughter Hub's vitals for this work cycle. Do you have an idea how much that costs? How much it costs? There. 57 ration cards is all I've got, I swear. Spent the rest on a rot cut again? I'm guessing it's not. I'm not doing you any more favors. Give up, drink, or get used to life into pestilence pit. Hope you get hit by a train. Run away! 2 medkits. Here, so we can't talk to any of these guys. Ryan Guts was someone unfortunate enough to be flattened by a train who liked listening on the track. Yeah, they do. I don't imagine that's an arrow, but it might be an arrow. Oh yeah, the sound does go out. That's funny. So the description said, the longer you stare at the mark, the quieter the sounds of the station become. The shadow grows longer, it seems to stretch in the direction of the adjacent section. But the rogue trader himself? Yeah, we are kind of just meandering around. There goes it, guys. Lord Captain, how may I serve you? What are you doing? Burning the poor shacks, Lord Captain, the rabble building, cutting off the air supply to the next bay and making it difficult for the Inferni to work. We told the serfs to get out of here time after time, but they won't listen. Captain Fresno's ordered everything to be burned down and afterward this area to be sealed off. I mean, yeah, airflow is pretty damn important.
I won't tolerate weakness.
Have Lard do the jump for us.
Easily done.
You really make out the crudely scribbled words on the burnt node. Then past the marketplace. Make sure the enforcers don't get you or you'll ruin the operation. On the tracks behind, you'll find a little gift. Give it to him. You'll see for yourself. And then 15 ration cards. Whatever we can use that for.
The Inquisition taught me many things.
Burnt man. Mercy, please save me. Young man grasps for air through the burnt lips, slipping in and out of delirium. His skin is dripping from his gaunt body like melted wax from a candle. His eyes, somehow intact, alive, clear, filled with pain, stare at you from under his cake eyelids. Who are you and what happened? I'm Vale, a cleaner. I was in my house asleep, and forces came, set it fire, I didn't make it out in time. Anything about the mark next to you? Spinner came, he painted the symbol, and then he gave me water, and whispered a strange verse. And he told me to memorize it, to recite it later, so that help would come. And here you are, then I should... Okay. Suit smirch, soul, her mercy she did grant. Last breath, Express, knife met heart, removed from her chest, passed on to death. Her duty blessed, a balm for those who suffer anguish and distress, a longing brought to rest, immortal bonds the soul divest. Alright, what's the chance of he might survive, but he'll be maimed for life. Too much of his muscle has been charred down to the bone, and even if he does retain some ability to move, pain will be his constant companion. Motor skills have been damaged beyond repair, a broken man or a corpse, time will soon tell. Chances of units serving are slim, functional usefulness in the event of stabilization, vital process neutral, disposal is recommended. Okay, so the song definitely says we should stab him. Well, we're gonna get some dogmatic points here. Ooh. I also want the iconoclast points. We'll get a little bit of dogmatic here. No! Mercy! So be it, I can't take this pain anymore. I'd rather die. Nope, she said something. Hey, knife. There's no course more terrible than existence between unlife and undeath. You liberated tormented soul. The undying one sees you have the good you have wrought. Yeah, I figured. That's kind of what we're supposed to do. We're obviously going to make a bunch of, like, dogmatic decisions here. But, I mean, Pascal co-signed it. And our Medicaid checker is like, he could be his scribe's apprentice, but, like, why? Okay, how are we doing on time? We got a little bit more. Okay. I think I have to go. I'm just checking to see if the note opened up any sort of ability to get loot up here, but no, I don't think so. I think you have to go down there normally. Now, what's this enforcer doing? Long live the road trader. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, these people trying to go for the workforce. Worker beaten within an inch of lives are returning stolen power panel. Okay, yep. Stealing from the trash. Alright, what's the beggar got to say? Yeah, he says long live the rogue trader. It's crazy. Oh, there we go. Lordship, spare throne for those who can't even get the worst job. We ignore them. That is a little too... We're not just Mr. Good Guy here. But I will steal all my shit. The power of eminent domain. Hey, Heinrich, how's it going? Lord Captain, an unexpected encounter it brings you to this compartment. Famous cuisine or magnificent vistas, no doubt. What are you doing here? Here to patch up Savage, locomotive number 3, the Squabbler's personal favorite of the entire freight line. Every couple of years, Savage gets mad, his boiler catches fire, and starts spitting steam at the repairman. Guess who they call to take care of him in these situations? The Inferni, of course. But that's alright, I love Savage. When he's in a good mood, the feeling of standing at his levers and speeding down the freight line is indescribable. The roar of the boiler, the wheels thumping like mad, and all that furious power pulsing in your hands, responding to the slightest movement. How about I introduce you? Oh yeah, we're in. The panel before you is covered with technical runes, lumens, levers. The platform shakes with the boiler's mighty vibration from the iron beast beneath your feet and growls and snorts ferociously. The black-hearted fiend is angry and refuses to obey. Right now, Savage is powered only by the auxiliary maneuvering engine. We will need to start the main rotor if we want to take a trip down the freight line. Listen to the rumbling noises. The third machine doesn't seem to be remarkably similar to a wild beast, nor the mechanism resembles horse growling. The scarlet glow of the lumens on the control panel makes you think of a malicious, clever predator. The spirited machine is vicious, but strong and lively. Alright, what should I do? Put your hand on a big lever and gently give it a pull. Very gently. Savage does not like being hassled. Grasp the lever and gently pull it towards you. A few erratic jolts shake the platform and an indignant groan emanates from the depths of the machine. An intense shudder passes through the lever and into the palm of your hand, and there's a strange feeling of emptiness in your stomach. Savage's fiery heart is stirring. Do you feel it? There's so much energy and defiance in him. This is a rocket, not a locomotive, unruly and enamored of speed, but quite willing to submit to a strong hand. Pull a lever towards you, smooth you out firmly, then pump the fuel with the command rune. Is this romance? Unruly and defiant, but submits to a strong hand, much like yourself. Alright, pull a lever and pump the fuel. New explosion inside Savage shakes his iron body, causing your eyes to double from the vibration. Now you're feeling his real power. He can even run down the entire freight line in a minute given the chance, and kill everyone who rides up at that speed. Now, try applying some thrust to the main rotor, grab a pair of levers, and give him a firm tug. Alright, Pascal, reach for our innately card levers and awaken the beast. Savage is awoken and appears to agree not to kill us both. All hail, Lord Captain. You subdued a mighty beast today. Now I'm sure you have urgent business to attend to, and it's time for me to drive Savage down the line and see if he's feeling cranky. Alright, have a good trip. Everything's going to be alright. Savage will never fry me. Right, Savage? Alright, I'll take a little bit of XP. Nope. We're going around. There's a lot of beggars. And there's a little sign. You know, let's see if we can talk to Mr. Lower Decker. Flute player. A group of gawkers are crowded at a makeshift stage watching a strange duo perform. The man with odd-looking goggles pushed up to his forehead, hands wrapped around worn leather gloves, plays a tune on a handmade flute. Next to him sits a stack of crates supporting some kind of game board. Scuffy Rat is rolling the small glass balls around the board. Watch the game. Is this the Pied Piper? Some workers empty their pockets, start throwing ration cards, bolt nuts, and even a few power panels into the small chest next to the board. The flute player winks at the crowd and switches to a different tune. The rat squeaks excitedly and starts rolling colorful balls and players have chosen around the maze of tunnels on the board. But not a single one reaches the goal, a hole marked with a red circle. The rat just rolls the balls off the board and into dead ends. Once the first group of players hits their hopes dash and leaves empty-handed, new workers immediately take their place. Let's do an awareness check here. Watch the rat. Rat scurries around the board, spurred on by the flute. Its movements appear erratic at first glance, but after a while you notice how consistent the balls seem to miss the goal at the very last moment. While the rat's clumsy, amusing scampering distracts the spectators, this nimble tail directs the balls away from the hole. Let's listen to the tune. Yeah, cool. Same information. Toss a coin. A fine show. The crowd, which has been too absorbed by performance to notice your presence, turns to you, expresses frightful awe appearing on the workers' faces, many start whispering prayers. The flute player's clear eyes widen in surprise, then with an open file and friendly smile, he says, Many a grand story of Lord Captain's generosity is told. I swear on my own flute, today I will add another. The fortune peddler, Lord Captain's grace is a gift from fate himself. Perhaps you'd like to trade some of that Captain's fortune of yours, your lordship. He bows respectfully and gestures at the game board. Who are you? One of many. Voice in the crowd, a cognitive mechanism, humble servant. Flute player is all they call me because that's what I am. I make up tunes and give players respite after a hard day's work. Curious looking flute, how did you come by it? Mother loved music, she used to hum beautiful melodies to me, and she passed away. I carved this flute from her hip bone and started learning to play. I have so much respect for her memory. Play a local favorite. He smiles mysteriously and brings the flute to his lips. A simple, brisk melody pours out of the instrument. The glum faces of workers and traders soften a little, and the tunnels around you seem less squalid than before. Long after music has stopped, many continue whistling the unassumed ditty. The flute needs no words to sing, but I'm curious to know what story your melody tells. So a simple man from lower decks, honest with himself and others, and he risks his life to protect the oppressed from those corrupted by power. Takes from the rich and gives to the needy. He helps without asking for anything in return. Namaste, hero of tales admired by children and grown folk alike. The interrogator's lip curls, but he remains silent, his icy gaze not leaving the man. Let's be a little bit callous here. We are an ex-crime lord. So a fairy tale indeed, risking oneself for nothing. If such a man exists, he would surely be profiting from your misfortunes in secret, rather than to coercion one. Look at people at each other in shock upon hearing this unpalatable fact of life. The joy evaporates, leaving only bitterness and disappointment. I think the song just died, but I won't despair. Alright, let's play a game. Please, let's have a little lark of your attention. Playing the rules. It's simple. On this board, you play a fate. Choose a ball and give it to Bolts, my rat. If she rolls her ball into the marked red within 3 minutes, you win. If she doesn't lose, simple. Alright, we're cheating. Raise his flute and the rat dives board. You hear clawed feet scrabbling against the crate, and a few minutes later, a green ball pops out of the center. Not certain how the flute player controls the rat, but you have your bag of old reliable tricks at your... Wait, we do know how. Your foot touches the base of the crate stacked seemingly by accident, and the board tilts slightly. Meanwhile, the rat, tempted by a piece of hardtack, clutched surreptitiously between your fingers, happily rolls the ball right where you want it to go. When the ball drops in the red hole, a few impressed whistles come from the crowd, and the flute player laughs heartily. Cleverly done, your lordship. Well, I had no doubt you'd be a worthy opponent, and your strategy, I think I'll keep in mind for my future games. Oh. For the entertainment. Thank you for your generous gift. These folks will shower me in ration cards to get their hands on something that belong to your lordship. Fortune gave me your brightest of smiles today. Hope you enjoyed yourself. Flute player is not as simple as he pretends to be. I'm curious to know what he's really doing here. I'll have him monitored. Cool. Thank you, Heinrichs.
Victory awaits!
I like having Heinrichs as kind of your, like, dirty henchman. Alright, what's the commerce check here? Judging by the merchant's round, well-fed face, the rusted junk laid out on the counter is merely a smokescreen for the more valuable and likely illegal goods that are now hidden from the idle glances. Yeah, as, you know, the boss is running around. Okay, I think we're going to end this here as we continue to explore the underground. We have also been pointed via this. We dealt with the flute people, and I'm not sure what we're going to do with the beggars, but, you know, we will continue exploring the DLC stuff.